Hello and welcome to Monday Night Live. I bet you're a little bit surprised. Look, oh gosh, I'm dirty. I bet you're a little bit surprised that I'm here. I tried to put the schedule in, but it didn't quite work. So here I am. So if you are watching live, thank you for watching Monday Night Live. It is Monday, the 12th of September, and I'm Yvonne Shepherd. I'm the founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures, and I'm delighted to have you here. So if you are watching live, please let me know. We're just typing in Monday Night Live. Hopefully this is working. It seems to be a little bit crazy. So if you're watching live, please let me know. Please let me know if the sound is okay, where you're watching from, and if you've got any questions. And tonight, we're going to talk about a few things. Some observations, some comments, some big things that have happened in the last week as well, and let you know what's coming up and where I'm going to be pretty soon as well. And hello, Patricia from Crescent Head. So at least I know it's working. If you are watching, please know I can't see you. I don't know where you are, who you are. And until you make a comment, all I can see when you make a comment is your name. So if you are here, it's always nice to know, rather than me just staring into this little green dot that's in front of the screen there. So, and hi, Suze, as well from Victoria. Lovely to have you here. And hi, Mandy, as well. Lovely to have you all here, guys. Finally, I feel well again. I jumped back into exercise last week, trying to shake off the last of my cold. So it's actually a nice feeling for me. Exercise is my escape. So it's been nice to feel that I'm back in the land of my living, doing stuff in my happy place. So this week I want to talk about, and if you've read the newsletter, you probably gather what I'm going to talk about is the Queen herself. And whether you're a royal watcher, a royal fan or not, there are some amazing lessons that we can learn from the Queen. And, you know, she's a leader, she's a lady, she's a bit of a legend as well. And, 70 years doing the same job, sure, it's varied, but the same job is commendable, and we'll probably never, male or female, see the likes of that again. So hello, Joanne from Whyalla. Lovely to have you here again. I remember you were on a couple of weeks ago. Tricia from Victoria and Cherie in Sydney. Yes, I saw that, back to where you were a couple of years ago, but in a much better place. So thank you for sharing all those beautiful words as well. So I was chatting during the week. We had some hike training happening during the week, and we were chatting, as we do as women, about how we we overcommit, we overthink, we think we can get everything done. We schedule the list to be as long as possible because we don't want to disappoint, and we think we can get ahead. Now, if that sounds like you, regardless of where you're at, I know that when I was in Iceland, I loved it, because when we weren't hiking and I got back to my hotel room, at the end of the trek, 24-hour daylight meant that my list, I could just keep going on and on and on, which is not sustainable for anyone, might I say. But, as women, do we overcommit to our list? Do we make a list that is too big, that we will never get to the bottom of? Do we think that we can get all of that list done? Do we try and do all that list to our own detriment so that we don't disappoint? And, I was with maybe a dozen other women when we were talking about this, and we all felt the same. But we also felt that perhaps maybe we could push back a little bit. Maybe we could sneakily say no one time, or turn off that computer, or walk away from those emails to give time to ourselves, which brings me back to the Queen. So she was an amazing lady. Her legacy and her legend status will probably only grow from here. And hi, Heather. She was a leader. If you think about the 70 years of her doing her job, let's call it her job, which is different to most people's jobs, of course, the changes that she had seen in that time, her ability, whether you see it rightly or wrongly, but her ability to adapt to those changing times, from war to, conflict at home to, resurrecting a family, a very high profile public facing family, to a virus, to, losing her husband, all of those things, she navigated with, let me turn that one off. She navigated with, I guess, her quiet sense of calm. And so she had, I see, great leadership of self. You can't show up for 70 years and not be a good leader of yourself. I think that was quite amazing. And she showed up consistently as well. And these are all lessons that we can map, or insights that we can map over to ourselves. And she also had a life of her own, which we never saw. She was a very private person. And I'm sure she wasn't the queen every day when she showed up outside of those office hours, that she did have some passions and pastimes that she invested in, because you cannot be on the whole time. And, that whole circle of life, that whole balance of harmony or balance that we're all trying to find, even she would have had to do that. She showed up as queen. She showed up into our lounge rooms. She showed up, on those big events, and she showed up in pomp and ceremony as well. But there were other times where she didn't show up at all in that role, because she was hopefully having that balance in her life. Because if we don't, we burn out really quickly. So what can we do to be like the queen, and not necessarily, the Queen of England, but the queen of our own life, or the king of our own life, or whatever it is of our own life, in charge of our own life? We can show up consistently. And I was reading one of our Couch to Mountain team's posts just yesterday, and if you don't know, our Couch to Mountain program is a program that we run once a year, where we take participants, our wonderful members, from their literal couch, so whatever their couch is for whatever reasons, to through an online program for 6 months to the summit of Mount Kosciuszko. And we follow a training plan, and it is literally taking segments bit by bit, but showing up consistently over time. And the one person who, well, there's lots, but the one person who wrote in during the week, was she's executing that plan to a T. She's following that plan. And the reason she's following that plan is because she's showing up. So if we're getting the results we want, it's because we're showing up. If we're not getting the results we want, it's because we didn't show up. And showing up in so many different ways for our own life. So I know, for me, having been unwell for the last 6 weeks, where I couldn't do any exercise, that when I went back to my running, I couldn't run like I used to, but then I hadn't trained like I used to. So, if we don't show up for the things that are important, then that reflects on how they perform. So if we were really good at balance and then took 2 months off practicing our balance or our strength, then, it's going to show in the results that we get. So, to be like the queen, or to be like the most important person, is to show up in your own life, but to show up with consistency. And that's leadership of your own life. Taking that leadership, taking that role of you being front and center of your life. Now, that's not having a big ego. That's not, you at all costs over everybody else. But it's you saying to you, I'm really important, and I'm important enough to put myself first. And I think that self-leadership is something that is really important to all of us. Now, I know there's quite a few more of you watching. So if you're watching please jump in and let me know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions or comments about this, I'd love to know, because otherwise I just keep talking to myself. And the other thing, so leadership of self is something that the Queen did, showing up consistently as well. And having our own life. So having that balance. You aren't your work. You aren't your family. You aren't, the son, the daughter, the wife. You're the sum of all of those. And the sum of all of those, when we get that balance and harmony going, it really adds up to a pretty special person. And that person is you. And I know that, talking with a lot of our members, that we often can get that balance out of whack. We often can lose a little bit of perspective about the things that sometimes we need to focus on, or we should focus on. So when we get that balance back, it really, or when we find that harmony, everything starts to sing. And I think that's really important. Hello, Margaret from Cairns, and hello, Chris from Townsville as well. And Chris, I saw your post in the member group today, and we've got quite a few members in Townsville, so I'll tag them into that post as well, Townsville and Ayr as well. So you might be able to connect with them too. So, the Queen, and hi, Simone, from Sunshine Coast as well. So, we may never know the legacy that we create or we leave. And the Queen of England, sure, over the 70 years, she would see what legacy she has created. But the true legacy of what she created we may never know in our lifetime, and may never know that either. Patricia says, I'm starting to realize that maybe I'm trying to do too much. Other people keep suggesting that. Hey, I'm with you, Patricia. And all of you know that I love my work. But on the weekend, I took a leaf out of the Queen's book, and and Mandy, I know you're listening. I need to, like most of our members, get the work-life balance right. As much as I love work, I need to show up in all those other areas of my life as well. And the hard part for me is just not checking in on the computer and creating all these wonderful things that I want to create. And it's a tug of war. It's a tug of war. But I know that sometimes we have to, Patricia and Mandy and a few others, we have to go slower to go faster. We have to stop and absorb and get the sum of the whole working before that harmony starts to sink in. And we don't have to do it all. I know we feel that for the last couple of years that time is all we have, and it is, but we don't have to do it all at once. And when the pandemic first hit, and I remember we had a member chat night once a week, I think it was, for the first couple of weeks when no one could go anywhere. And everyone was kind of saying, well, this is a great opportunity to slow down and, reflect on what's really important. But it seems now that everything's open again, there is this headlong rush into just getting everything done. And I'm not sure that we've all learnt, not saying pointing the finger at anyone, but collectively that we've all learnt what we all thought we were learning a couple of years ago, me included, and that is to slow down. I do know that I'm going to bed earlier, and I know in our member challenge about our reset and refocus that a lot of us are focusing more on getting sleep. And as one of our members said the other day, she had a reverse sleep in, which is actually going to bed much earlier. So you're still getting that same amount of sleep, but you're not sleeping and wasting, if that's your thing, wasting the day. Hello, Helen from Mary Valley, Christine from Cleveland, but a yoga retreat in the Blue Mountains, lovely, and trying to learn to relax. Yeah, I know. And if you loop back to the beginning, that was the thing that, as women, the women in my world, the women that I talk to, the hiking women, the women of Women's Fitness Adventures, that we overcommit, or not even that. Everyone I come into, we think we can get it done. We want to get ahead. Teachers in particular work weekends because they want to get ahead. But the week just keeps unfolding with more and more and more, and we're not getting ahead. We're actually working longer and harder. And that's a really, that's a cycle that then becomes really hard to get out of. Cherie says, my children tell me I do too much, but when I say no, they make me feel guilty. Yeah. Mother guilt, grandmother guilt, women guilt is there, whether you have children or not. We always find something to be guilty about. My view on that is I'm going to feel uncomfortable if I say no, and I accept that and work through it. It's not easy though, and it's practice. And I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about exposure therapy. So just put yourself in the situation that keeps causing the heat, and eventually it'll become easier and easier. and you're not doing it from a place of you're doing it from a place of love for yourself as well. And over time, I think children come to recognize that it's okay for mum or grandma or sister or auntie to have this this life of her own, which is great modeling for them as well. Mandy says, small steps, foundation and balance are something we work on continuously. It's not perfect, but never giving up. And we are all a work in progress. And no one is perfect. No one. Angelina, hi from Toowoomba as well. So it's, the Queen, I think it's a bit like when I do a movie review. I don't go to the movies very often, but what I learned from the movie, and I think from the Queen, she was calm on the outside. She may have been paddling frantically underneath, but calm on the outside, measured, and I guess she had a whole army of people around her and stuff like that, but she had a big responsibility. So for me, it is about being that leader of self that she was. She didn't have role models on how to behave, so she needed to figure it out how she went. She was in a world of, white males who, over the past 70 years, the role of the female has become more and more accepted as well. So she did learn to still behave, still conduct her own method of behavior rather than conform to those around her as well. So, a leader, a lady, and I think a bit of a legend with a legacy. So 4 L's, there you go. Cherie says, I think they are not used to me getting a life of my own and not being available. Yeah. And I know with our members too, just on that, we have a lot of grandma discussions. Some are grandmas, some aren't, some aunts as well, and it's whether you choose to be full-time, part-time. And there's a lot of conversations in chat 10 looks 3 and all of those about the role of grandparents. So whatever works for you there, but really important, no matter how big or small your role is in others' lives, it's just so important to have a big role in your own life. We don't want to get to the end and go, I wish I had have, I should have, I could have, I would have done that. So that's enough about the Queen. I just want to share a couple of other things that are coming up. This time next week, I won't be here. I will actually be in Tuscany. We are on our Trekking in Tuscany adventure. So we have, I think, 5 nights down in Tuscany, staying at a beautiful organic farm stay, and then trekking each day, coming back to that farm stay, and then 4 nights over on Elba Island. This is an adventure, again, that we've been waiting for a couple of years. So we were due to go in 2020. And, of course, we all know that didn't happen. So we are off on some of the girls are already there having a holiday before the trek. But we are off on Friday evening. So I will pop in for a live next week, but I'm not really sure when that will be. But if you look out on the Facebook page, which you are here, there'll be lots of pictures and beautiful things to look at and comment on. And we have 15 amazing ladies coming with us. Elba Island is where Napoleon hid out or hung out for a couple of years as well. So really rich in history. And the area in Tuscany we're going is where those beautiful rolling hills are, and they filmed some of Gladiator as well. So I look forward to sipping on some of that strong Italian coffee and that gelato and walking all during the day. So you can all come along on the journey with us because we will, where we can, pop in and do some Facebook Lives and some videos and stuff like that. But if you aren't with us, then there's a couple of other ways you can be involved. So we are running our first hiking skills workshop down in Victoria in October. It's a 2-day event on a Saturday and a Sunday up in the Gisborne region, so 45 minutes from Melbourne. And it is the fundamentals of hiking. And you may think you have been hiking for a while and know all there is to know. But the great thing about these workshops is because it's with like-minded women, and we go through not only the skills of hiking and the foundations of fitness for hiking, but we also go through gear and equipment, and when the community of women starts to have conversations with each other and with us around that sort of thing, they're actually the gems and the knowledge that come out and that is shared is quite amazing. And it's a perfect opportunity to connect socially. Now, you don't have to be a member to do that, but of course, members, we hope to see you there, get a huge discount by coming along. The other thing about it is there's only 20 places and half have sold out already in less than a week. So if you are wanting to come to the hiking skills workshop in Victoria, then I suggest that you jump on pretty quickly and book that one. The other one is our South Australian walk and talk. So we've got a series. Mandy is our ambassador in South Australia, and we're really ramping that up. So we have a series of social walks right through to the end of the year. The City Bay Fun Run is on this weekend, and I think it's this weekend. No, not this weekend, the 18th. And yeah, that is this weekend. Yes. Hi, Sue. And yeah, Mandy, love that we can learn so much from each other in the members group. Absolutely. So we have the series of social walks in South Australia. There's 3 of them leading up to Christmas. So the first one is up there on October 15th on a Saturday. No particular fitness level required. Come along and meet some like-minded women and really just have a social morning out. Always great conversation as well. And then in Brisbane, we have our Wednesday Wander coming up in a couple of weeks on a Wednesday out at Moggles. So some hills, some conversation, some camaraderie, boosting the fitness and the social life at the same time. For members, book club just released the book, and if you are thinking of coming on our Pyrenees adventure in September next year, this is the book to read, because it is that story kind of gets embedded into that adventure as well. So much stuff going on, so much richness happening there. So that's it from me for this week. I do hope that you're well. For those of you, my son has been over in America for a week. That's why I wasn't here last week. And he's doing okay. I'm a very proud mother. He does have that back injury, which he's getting over. So that's getting much better. And he went to his first football game on the weekend with 75,000 people. So that's a lot for a college football game, but he was a spectator. So thank you for those of you who have been asking how that's going. So that's it from me for this week. I will be coming to you sometime next week from Tuscany. And yeah, please check in on the photos, and yeah, we know that you'll all be there with us in spirit, even if you can't make it in person. So thank you for tuning in tonight. I look forward to catching up with you when I get back, but I will, as I said, be coming to you live at various times through my Tuscany, my Italian adventure. So take care. Remember, be like the Queen, leadership of yourself. Okay, just a couple of questions. Kim, how do you join book club? So as a member, it's only open to members. So just jump onto the website. We just uploaded it today. So it's all inclusive of your membership, and it's 3 Tuesdays, the 4th, the 11th and the 25th of October. So we read a third of the book each time, and just jump on there and register. You'll need to get the book from the library or on Audible or digital Booktopia or somewhere like that. And that's how you do that. So hopefully that, gave you, have a great time in Tuscany. Let me think about that. Okay, I will. All right, so that's it. And I will catch up with you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.